Welcome into our season review series presented by Comerica Bank. I'm Tori Petry, joined virtually by Twentyman and Mike O'Hara. We broke down the offense already, and today we are moving on to the defense. Gentlemen, we know this was an area where the Lions struggled this year. Tim, I'll start with you. What went wrong for the Lions on defense in 2020?
Well, I think it'd be easier and quicker to talk about what went right, but it was everything. I think it was from all three levels. I mean, it was historically not good. You look at the most points allowed in the history of the franchise. You look at the most yards allowed. It was just not good all the way around. I think outside of Romeo Okwara, who I think was their most consistent performer all year with 10 sacks, and Mike did a good article about some of the guys dating back this century who had 10 sacks. I think he was only the sixth one since 1999. Mike can confirm that, but it just wasn't good. Yeah, they need more playmakers. They need more guys that can affect the quarterback. They need more guys that can get their hands on footballs in the back end. They need a lot. And so I think that's task number one for the new general manager, for the new head coach. And I would expect there to be a complete revamp of that side of the football this offseason.
Mike, I want to get your take on this. Did you feel like it was more of a scheme issue, a talent issue? What just wasn't working for them?
Well, I don't think anything was working. I think maybe the number one fault there, and you'd see it week after week, game after game, couldn't tackle. I'll go back to that. Look, it's a meaningless game against the Vikings, the last game, but there's 13 seconds to go in the half, and they throw a little pass to Chad Beebe, and he just runs down the left sideline, and a couple of guys collide, and another guy standing there watching. It's a 40-yard touchdown with 4 seconds to go. I mean, even if the game doesn't mean anything, you can't let that happen. I referred to it in one of my columns as they weren't defenders, they were onlookers. And then I downgraded them to dockers or gawkers at a crash site. It was just awful. And you saw that game after game that just guys would run free. Remember the Green Bay game, the first play of the second half, 75-yard touchdown run, just broke the game open. There was too much of that. I don't think there was enough attention to detail, guys in position to make plays, whether that's scheme, whether that's coaching, whether that's ability. I think it's everything.
Tim, you talked about how this is going to be a rebuild for this Lions defense. How far away do you think this defense is from having the pieces they need to be successful?
Well, it really just depends on how they draft and how they attack free agency, but I think when you look at, pieces that you can build around when you're talking about the defense, I think obviously Trey Flowers is still in his prime, and they're a better football team when Trey's playing. He only played 7 games this year because of injury. And so, I think he's a guy that you talk about. We talked about Romeo Okwara. Obviously, Jeff Okudah is a guy that you drafted number 3, and you expect for him, after having the groin surgery that hampered him a little bit, to take off in year 2. And after that, Amani Oruwariye, I thought maybe showed some good things on the outside, and John Pinacini on the inside, but there's 5 guys, right? I mean, it takes 11. I think team speed was a big issue, especially at the linebacker position. I thought teams were really able to, get one-on-one matchups with speedier tight ends, speedier running backs, and really exploit the Lions linebackers in space. And so I would expect that group in particular to really have a big revamp and try to add some speed and some players that can play in space. That's just how the NFL is now, right? It's a matchup game, and these offensive weapons and these skill position guys on that side of the ball are just too good, and you have to be able to run. And I thought that was a weakness. And so there's some building blocks there, but it's not enough. And so it's really going to take, I think, a Herculean effort to really hit on the draft, hit on free agency, and get enough guys that can come in here and make a difference.
All right, Mike, number 7 pick in the draft. Obviously, you have free agency as well, but say you're playing GM, the new GM that gets hired. Mike, what positions on defense are you prioritizing this offseason?
I think it's linebacker and safety, and unless you can get a monster pass rusher at right defensive end or left end, you either want to look in this day and age. It's a speed game, and I think the Lions have been built for play defensive 15, 18 years ago, with big, strong guys who clog up the gaps and all that and hit people. No, I think you need to be able to get to the ball and enforce it when you do it. Look at the young guys who are playmakers in the league. Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, Buda Baker down in Arizona, guys like that who can fly to the ball and hit somebody and make when the ball's in the air, they're looking around wanting to know, wait a minute, where's that safety? Where's that that linebacker. And I don't think the Lions are built that way at all. I didn't see enough plays by the safeties at all this year. Now, Tracy Walker, at times, I think, and there were a lot of questions on why he didn't play more. I don't believe that they were playing inferior players intentionally. There's a reason he didn't get more playing time. But I think they need enforcers in those positions. Linebacker or safety, take the best one available.
Guys, we will have plenty more of those conversations as the offseason rolls on and we talk more about the draft and that number 7 pick. Thank you so much for weighing in on the defense presented by Comerica Bank. We've still got one more season review, and that will be special teams coming up a little later in the week.